The story of Taiwan and mainland China is one of shared ancestry yet profound political division. The Qing dynasty ceded Taiwan to Japan in 1895 after the First Sino-Japanese War. For 50 years, Taiwan experienced Japanese rule, developing a distinct path. Following Japan's defeat in Wudi II in 1945, the Republic of China reclaimed Taiwan. This period was marked by significant tensions, culminating in the February 28 incident of 1947, a brutal crackdown that sowed seeds of mistrust. The defining schism occurred with the Chinese Civil War. By 1949, the CCP had achieved a decisive victory on the mainland, proclaiming the People's Republic of China in Beijing. The KMT, led by Chiang Kai-shek, retreated to Taiwan with its remaining forces and approximately 2 million supporters. From Taipei, the ROC maintained its claim as the legitimate government of all China. Conversely, the PRC viewed Taiwan as a renegade province, vowing to eventually achieve reunification, by force if necessary. For decades, the Taiwan Strait became a fault line of the Cold War. Taiwan, under KMT martial law until 1987, underwent significant economic development and democratized, evolving into a vibrant multi-party democracy. This enduring standoff, rooted in civil war and divergent development, has defined cross-strait relations and remains a critical point of potential conflict in the Indo-Pacific region. In this complex environment, let us consider the nature of an offer from Beijing that Taipei might, hypothetically, choose to accept in 2025. Such an offer would be multifaceted, designed to appeal to various segments within Taiwan while addressing Beijing's core strategic objective: unification. It would likely be framed under a version of the one country, two systems principle, similar to what was proposed for Hong Kong, but with tailored provisions. The economic incentives would be substantial, promising Taiwan preferential access to China's vast market and massive infrastructure projects. Politically, Beijing's offer would have to address Taiwan's desire for a degree of autonomy, proposing that Taiwan could maintain its own political system, legal framework, and even its armed forces for a transitional period. Promises regarding the preservation of Taiwan's democratic freedoms and institutions would be made, though their long-term viability would be a central point of contention. However, underpinning any offer would be the non-negotiable premise of Taiwan acknowledging Beijing's ultimate sovereignty. This combination of inducement and underlying pressure would characterize the dragon's embrace, making acceptance a monumental and deeply divisive decision for Taipei. Beijing's approach towards Taiwan has long been characterized by a sophisticated dual strategy, employing both coercion and persuasion, the stick and the carrot. The military dimension, the stick, serves as a constant reminder of China's capabilities and determination. The PLA has made its presence increasingly felt with regular air and naval patrols around Taiwan. These military maneuvers are carefully calibrated displays of force, testing the PLA's operational readiness and exerting psychological pressure on Taiwan. Alongside military deterrence, Beijing employs a range of soft policies or carrots designed to foster integration and cultivate support for unification within Taiwan. These initiatives aim to demonstrate the supposed benefits of closer ties with the mainland, such as creating cross-strait integrated development demonstration zones. Beyond economic inducements, Beijing actively works to influence Taiwanese society and politics, including funding pro-unification groups and media outlets in Taiwan. By fostering patriotic forces and attempting to sway public opinion, Beijing seeks to erode Taiwan's resistance from within. The hypothetical decision by Taiwan in 2025 to accept an offer from Beijing would represent a seismic shift, a profound re-evaluation of its long-held stance on sovereignty. For decades, successive Taiwanese governments have asserted that Taiwan is a sovereign and independent nation. The pressure leading to such a momentous acceptance would be immense, involving a grim calculus by Taipei's leadership. This could stem from a belief that China's military capabilities have become so advanced that armed resistance would lead to catastrophic destruction. A perceived erosion of international support, particularly from the United States, could be a critical factor. Internally, such a decision would undoubtedly trigger intense debate, anguish, and significant opposition. The American predicament: strategic ambiguity tested. The United States has long played a pivotal role in the cross-strait dynamic. For decades, U.S. policy has been characterized by strategic ambiguity, a deliberate vagueness regarding whether it would intervene militarily if China were to attack Taiwan. Taiwan's hypothetical acceptance of a PRC offer would fundamentally challenge this long-standing American posture. Such a development would place the United States in a deeply uncomfortable predicament. On one hand, if Taiwan willingly accepts an arrangement with Beijing, it would be difficult for the US to overtly oppose it. On the other hand, this outcome would be seen as a major strategic setback for the US in the Indo-Pacific. The era of strategic ambiguity concerning Taiwan's defense would likely end, replaced by a new, uncertain phase. Forging unity, the initial steps of cross-strait rapprochement. Once Taiwan hypothetically accepts Beijing's offer, the immediate aftermath would be a period of intense activity focused on implementing the terms of the agreement. Economic integration would almost certainly be at the forefront, involving harmonizing trade regulations, reducing investment barriers, and promoting joint ventures. Infrastructure projects such as a bridge or tunnel across the Taiwan Strait might be officially launched. Social and cultural exchanges would also be heavily promoted, encouraging greater people-to-people contact. Beijing would likely launch initiatives aimed at fostering a sense of shared Chinese identity. Politically, the initial phase would involve setting up transitional governing mechanisms as outlined in the agreement. This might include establishing joint committees or liaison offices to oversee the implementation process. Taiwanese representatives might begin to participate in some mainland political consultative bodies. The degree of autonomy Taiwan retains during these initial stages would be a critical indicator of the future. Regional realignments. Asia adapts to a new status quo. Taiwan's acceptance of Beijing's offer would send profound shockwaves across the entire Indo-Pacific region. Japan would be deeply concerned about the expansion of China's military reach and the implications for its own national security. South Korea would find itself in an increasingly precarious position, navigating the intensifying Sino-US rivalry. For Southeast Asian nations, Taiwan's integration would be a sobering development, demonstrating Beijing's capacity to achieve its core territorial ambitions. Australia would face significant strategic adjustments, reinforcing concerns about China's growing assertiveness. The overarching effect would be a period of heightened strategic uncertainty and realignment. Regional actors would adapt to a new reality where China's dominance appears more pronounced. Global power shifts, the international impact of Taiwan's choice. The repercussions of Taiwan accepting Beijing's offer would extend far beyond the immediate Asia-Pacific region. This event would be widely interpreted as a monumental victory for the People's Republic of China. For the United States and its Western allies, this development would prompt a profound re-evaluation of their strategies for engaging with China. European nations would face increased pressure to define their positions in a world where China's influence is demonstrably ascendant. The impact on international law and norms, particularly concerning sovereignty and self-determination, would be substantial. Economically, the integration of Taiwan's advanced technology sector into the PRC's sphere of control would have far-reaching consequences. The overall effect would be a more contested and fragmented global order. An uncertain future. Challenges on the road to integration. Even with Taiwan's hypothetical acceptance of Beijing's offer, the path towards genuine and stable integration would be fraught with immense challenges. The agreement itself would inevitably contain ambiguities and points of future contention. The interpretation and implementation of provisions related to Taiwan's promised autonomy would be a constant source of friction. The deep-seated Taiwanese identity would not simply vanish. Managing dissent and ensuring social stability in Taiwan would become a major preoccupation for Beijing. The economic integration would also present difficulties, aligning two economies with different structures and regulatory environments. The road ahead would be a delicate balancing act, with the ever-present risk of miscalculation or renewed tensions. As Taiwan and Beijing navigate the complex terrain of integration, the economic ramifications cannot be overlooked. Taiwan's economy, characterized by its high-tech industries and democratic governance, stands in stark contrast to the state-controlled capitalism of mainland China. This disparity presents both opportunities and risks. On one hand, integration could open new markets and drive economic growth. On the other, it could lead to economic dependency and loss of Taiwan's competitive edge. For Beijing, integrating Taiwan would mean managing an economy that operates under different principles and regulations. This could strain China's resources and necessitate significant policy adjustments. Furthermore, the international community's response, including potential sanctions and shifts in trade relationships, could impact both economies. As such, the economic implications of integration are profound, requiring careful navigation to avoid exacerbating existing tensions and ensuring mutual benefit. As we look towards the future of cross-strait relations, the path is fraught with both challenges and opportunities. The integration of Taiwan and mainland China, if it occurs, will be a defining moment in the region's history. It will demand not only political and economic adjustments but also a profound cultural reconciliation. The people on both sides of the strait will need to navigate their shared yet distinct identities. Younger generations who have grown up with different political systems and societal norms will play a crucial role in shaping this new chapter. Their ability to find common ground and foster mutual understanding will be pivotal. Internationally, the evolution of cross-strait relations will have far-reaching implications. Global powers will need to reassess their strategies and alliances in response to this significant geopolitical shift. The world will be watching closely, as the decisions made today will ripple through the decades to come. Ultimately, the future of cross-strait relations hinges on the willingness of both sides to engage in constructive dialogue, to compromise, and to envision a shared future that respects the aspirations and dignity of all involved. While the road ahead is uncertain, it is also filled with the potential for a more peaceful and prosperous region,